let's break down which one is the best starter deck for Disney Lorcana based on card meta and also card prices. Wait, Whole New World is $34? With 54 from Amethyst? Wait, why is Surfer Sticks 64? Hades being 54 makes sense. This is super inflated, guys. Ursula 34? Rapunzel 60? Okay, this is super inflated day one price. With Disney Lorcana's release later on this week for hobby shops and coming September 1st to retail stores near you, you might be asking what is the best starter deck to get. So let's take a look at all three starter decks. Amber Amethyst, which is the yellow-purple one, Emerald Ruby, which is the green-red, and Sapphire Steel, being blue and gray. Let's take a look at some of the meta card that's in Sapphire Steel, starting with one of the best cards in the game, Flounder. Nah, just kidding, that's not, nah. But let's start with Detective Mickey as being one of the better cards in Sapphire Steel, which is used in a lot of ramp decks. One jump ahead, develop your brain, Grandma, and for some of the gray cards, grab your sword, beast, fire cannon, smash can all be used in a lot of control decks. The overall meta for Sapphire Steel looks a little bit weaker compared to the other decks. Now, I don't think this is a bad starter deck, but in terms of strategy, it does seem a little bit harder to manage for day one players. There's a few ramp deck cards such as One Jump Ahead and Detective Mickey, which works fantastic, but a lot of day one cards may not have that heavy hitting cards that need these strategies, and you might just be overwhelmed by the other starter decks in terms of hand and field. Now let's take a look at some of the cards in terms of prices. Now keep in mind these are release week prices, and prices should be dropping for some of the cards once retail release happens September 1st. Detective Mickey goes for about $1, Develop Your Brain looks like it's going for about $1, Grab Your Sword is probably the more expensive one at $7, Simba's Return you're probably looking at about $5, Grandma you're probably looking at about $2. Now let's move on to Amber Amethyst. Contains a great amount of meta cards for the Ruby Amethyst deck, and Amber has a good amount of rushdown cards that could be used for rushdown decks. And overall price seems a little bit lower as compared to some of the other ones. Let's take a look at the meta cards first. We got Friends on the other side. We have the 3-cost Maleficent, Dr. Felicia 7-cost, and the 2-cost. We have Rafiki, Hades, Stitch, Be Our Guest, and Part of Your World can all be used in pretty commonly in most decks. Now my opinion is that this one might be a little bit more of a balanced starter deck, since a lot of the Amethyst cards can allow you to draw cards and gives you a good balance with the yellow cards that can lure and challenge. You also have cards such as Rafiki, which is one of the better low cost rush characters. In terms of the value of the cards, Friends from the Other Side goes for about $1 right now, Maleficent is going for about $1, Dr. Felicia 7-cost is going for about $5, Rafiki is going for about $2, Hades is actually one of the more expensive ones going for $10, Mickey Mouse Wayward is in this deck and it's going for about $15 so far as we're seeing. Moana's going for about $12. Some cards like Moana can be used in Princess deck, and Mickey Mouse Wayward is listed pretty high right now in terms of cost, but not sure how some of these prices are going to hold up in release. Now let's take a look at the Emerald Ruby, which is good to mix of meta cards and card prices as well. This will be recommended if you're playing a Ruby Amethyst control deck. Ruby does not seem that bad. A lot of the Ruby cards can be used in the red decks pretty flexibly. Let's take a look at some of the cards there. We got Donald Duck, it's going for about $2. Aladdin Street Rat, which is in it, it's pretty good too. The big Aladdin card, the 7-cost one, is going for about $15 right now, which is kind of crazy because if you think about it, the starter deck is market sale retail price on September 1st for about $16. So I don't know how that Aladdin price is going to hold, but Aladdin is such a good card, so we're going to have to see. Dragonfires are going for about $5. It's a very, very good single target removal card. LaFoe is going for about $5 right now, which is kind of crazy. Abomination Stitch is going for about $5. Yago is going for $7. Steal from the Rich is going for about $10. Koala is going for about $10. Now this one might be the most worth it when it comes to card value and meta. Aladdin and shield combos can be very hard to deal with day one in my opinion. Dragonfire being a single target removal card can be very, very useful to take care of a lot of strong characters earlier on. If you want to buy some of these cards individually, it looks like they're going for a lot, so probably best in terms of value. Once again, gotta be careful of that because once the game releases, these card values may change by a lot, but based off of day one, it looks like it's very, very worth it. So in my personal opinion, I think this is probably one of the better starter decks between this one, but also, as I said, Amber and Amethyst could also be argued as being pretty good as well. And if you really want to get complicated with it, Sapphire Steel is good. It's just that it's going to be a little harder to play. So one of the things that I'm kind of questioning right now is how some of these prices are going to be holding up in the long run. Once we release the game, we're going to see how the prices adjust then, and then also when the September 1st second wave release comes, we're going to see how those prices adjust then. So thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to leave a comment down below. Which starter deck are you getting? Let me know. Thank you so much for watching. Yeah, so pretty much I threaten him next turn. He has to kill these two, which is very hard. It's doable. Very hard though. Yeah, he has to blast here. Skybear Sword is actually the perfect card right there, because now he could technically blast me a little bit. He's just attack.